Hello, moviegoers! Welcome to another episode of CritiCarter, the show where I turn you into a cinephile. I just got back from a midnight screening of the new film Moneyball, directed by Bennett, co-written by Aaron Sorkin and Steven Zailon, and starring Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, and Seymour Hoffman. This film documents the true story of Billy Beane, the general manager for the Oakland Athletics, and his attempt to reform a new team after they'd been gutted by the New York Yankees, along with the help of wunderkind Pete Brand, as well as the team manager. Just right off the bat, I want to say I'm not a baseball person. So, as great as the whole, inspirational true story of this film might be, a lot of it just didn't really do it for me. I'm sorry. The casting decisions made by the director were very good. Let me be clear on that. There are bits of actual footage from the games, and I can't tell when it's Seymour Hoffman and the guy that Seymour Hoffman is playing. The switch back and forth, very, very seamless. So good job there. And then you got Brad Pitt as Billy Beane. Brad Pitt. When does Brad Pitt go wrong? I couldn't tell you the last time Brad Pitt made a bad movie since Cool World, and that was way back in 1990 something or other. Jonah Hill, I would say, out of the three, probably the weakest point. While there are some moments when I don't think that he's quite ready to make the leap into a dramatic actor, which is what this movie requires him to be. While there are some moments of the film that are enhanced by the fact that he has that comedy background, more often than not, I got the impression that people were laughing at moments that probably shouldn't have been and wouldn't have had it been some other actor playing that role. Not being a baseball fan, there was something about the film that really struck me. The crux of the new system that they use to rebuild the team is that instead of focusing on what your average team builders would focus on, stuff like their appeal to the crowd, things like that, it's purely based on statistics. So you have people that would get passed over by that arguably deserve to be paid more from the bigger teams that they'd be able to get for a much more reasonable amount. When Billy Beane so Billy Beane has assembled this team, but Seymour Hoffman's character is not playing the guys that Billy Beane wants to be played. And how does Billy Beane get this problem fixed? He cuts them, just out of nowhere. He trades the guys to other teams, and it's just him. He picks up the phone. He's like, "Hello, I need to talk to so and so from Detroit or so and so from San Francisco, San Diego, whoever has a baseball team." Like I said, I don't know. So he just gets the other GMs on the phone, and he's saying, "Oh, I'll trade you this guy for this other guy that you have," and back and forth. And then all the guys that Art Howe is the guy that Seymour Hoffman's playing. All the guys that Art Howe was initially putting on the game instead of the guys Billy Beane wanted are suddenly not on the team anymore. And it just shocked me how you could, just throw the players aside like they were just chunks of meat. I thought it was really barbaric, Feel free to write me, not WRITE, but RIGHT, write me, correct me in my flawed thinking, and convince me this is some commonplace thing if you're a big baseball fan. As much as I love the screenwriting of Steven Zailon and especially Aaron Sorkin, I was really pulling him to win that Oscar last year, but no dice. Wait, no, yes, he did win the Oscar. Yay, Aaron Sorkin. Great script, but it's a little bit too long. I think this is the longest movie that I've chosen to review so far. It was like 2 hours 15. Which might not seem that long compared to some other movies you could probably mention, but there's some bits involving Billy Beane's family which don't really tie into the rest of the film. Make the film focus just on him and his interaction with Pete and Art and the team. That's really all you need in this picture. You don't need the stuff with his ex-wife who's now remarried and the daughter Billy Beane has with his ex-wife. It didn't add anything to the movie except running time, and that was something that there was already kind of too much of, at least for my taste. Something that Billy Beane makes note of in the film that makes him different from the other general managers or talent scouts, which is what he was before he was general manager, is that he used to be a player. He played baseball right out of high school instead of going to college. While most of the film, the bits that Brad Pitt is in, take place 2001, 2002, you also have some scenes with Billy Beane in the mid to late 1980s, where obviously Brad Pitt is not playing Billy Beane, it's some other guy. And while he looks-ish like Brad Pitt, if you took a glance at him sideways and looked back, you probably could mistake him for Brad Pitt, maybe, except for the fact that he had really dark hair. It got me thinking, any film that's got Brad Pitt in it probably has a reasonable amount of budget to throw around. 3 years ago, yeah, I want to say it was 3 years ago, David Fincher made a film called The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. And this film starred Brad Pitt, and it was about a guy who aged backwards. And the whole time, the face, this bit here, was Brad Pitt. Yeah, it was revolutionary at the time, but they came up with a system where you could take Brad Pitt's face and either, age him up or age him down. So the whole time that you saw Benjamin Button in that movie over, what was, I don't know, let's say his 20s up through however old he was when he first was born. If you've seen the movie, that makes more sense than it sounds like. It was always Brad Pitt's face, is the point I'm trying to make. So why can't you just take that technology and put it in any movie where you have a character that is a younger version of Brad Pitt? Just make him be Brad Pitt the whole time. We know that Brad Pitt has the chops. The acting chops. He can carry it. I trust him. Overall, and I hate to say it because I can tell a lot of hard work was put in this movie, and I know it's garnering some early Oscar buzz. I'm gonna give it a 3 3/4, not quite 4, but 3 3/4 struggling baseball team. Next week, I'm gonna be finally reviewing the eagerly anticipated cancer comedy called 50-50. Starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I know everybody's just as excited about that as I am. Who doesn't love a little JGL in their life? Be sure to give me a big old thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We got last week's review of Drive, and then we'll have next week's review of 50-50. Paint the black!